Well, I'm very, very actually excited and honored to be here with somebody I've heard about for many, many years and knew a little bit for many years. I'm here with Ronny Marcus, and Ronny is somewhat famous and has amazing clips on the YouTube from German TV and Russian TV and different things, not only. And Ronny does amazing things. But first, let me backtrack a little bit. I first met Ronny when I was volunteering at the Aline Children's Hospital here in Jerusalem in the late 90s. And Ronny was doing free performances, shows for the kids at Aline Hospital. Very, very handicapped children that were living in this hospital. And they worshipped Ronny. And they loved you, Ronny Marcus. And I saw you.
I loved them.
I saw you.
It was
with
my
them.
best audience.
I saw you with them, and the love, I saw the big love going both ways between you and the kids of Aline Hospital. And it was so impressive and something I'll never forget. And well, anyway, then I lost track of Ronny for many years and met him again by accident. No accidents, hey? Just recently. Anyway, about the things I saw on the YouTube clips, which I recommend all of you to Google Ronny Marcus and see these things for yourself. That's RONNYMARCUS. And he was on German TV and in front of a studio audience. Was there a studio audience?
Studio audience in front of the German TV and Japanese TV and English TV.
Oh wow, more than I thought. Anyway, I saw the German TV.
American TV.
Oh wow. Anyway, I saw the German TV. And Ronny, they had you very, very blindfolded. And you were seeing nothing with your eyes. That was very, very clear. And they stuck a German mark into your hand, and it had a paper money, and it had a serial number on it. And they asked you, they just stuck it in your hand, and there's no way you saw this thing with your eyes. And they asked you to read the serial number, I guess with your hand or however you do it, and you did it, Ronny. And I'd like to ask about how you did that. And then there was another clip from the same German TV show later, a different program apparently, where they, again, super blindfolded you. And they put you in the front seat of a car. Were you driving or were you near the driver?
I was driving.
You were driving. Okay. And Ronny saw nothing with his eyes, but you saw. And it was incredible to see. It shocked me. And he was saying, oh, well, there's a green Peugeot on the right, license plate number 74 or whatever it was. And then there's a yellow car coming down on the left, and a big trailer also on the left, and over and over and over. And it was an incredible thing to see. So with that as a very long preamble, how are you? Ronny, how are you today?
Great. I just want to say hello to everyone who's watching us now as well. You two are not here by mistake. If you're watching this now, I truly believe that there is a reason for that. Well, after that introduction, I hardly know where to begin. I'm also very honored to be here today. If we speak about blindfolded vision,
or vision without the eyes.
Yeah, but seeing blindfolded, what I tell everyone afterwards, and they're very, very surprised at that, is that basically we all do it without knowing it. When a person drives and starts playing with his cell phone or trying to find a radio station,
Yes.
or looking at the girl outside and speaking to the person next to them, and every so often they also look at the road. Yeah, they do that as well. But between the times that they are aware of what is happening outside, most people, and there was a study done by the insurance companies. When a person is between the times that a person is aware of what he sees, we have about 480 meters.
Oh, wow.
Almost half a kilometer. Everyone knows the feeling of arriving at a certain place and saying, well, where did the road disappear to? I don't remember getting here. How did we get here? No, we did that quickly, And the thing is, I know that I'm blindfolded. The others don't.
Mm-hmm.
So other drivers don't realize that they're not really aware of what is happening. People get to a red light while talking to the person next to them and they just stop. People automatically feel the road.
Wow.
Without realizing that they feel it. And here I've just taken it to another level.
Yes, you have. But it reminds me, of the near-death experience, when people describe in great detail leaving their bodies and visiting their daughter on the other side of the country, and they see what she's doing at that moment when she was on the operating table. There are many, many documented cases of near-death experiences, and people seeing long distance, not with their physical eyes, but apparently the spirit body or the light body has eyes of its own. Also in the dream state, we could dream and visit somebody and see exactly what they're doing at that time of the when we're dreaming. So apparently our spirit body has eyes. And okay, of course, I will ask Ronny to bend his spoon and maybe do something else a little later on. But I would love to ask you about who is Ronny Marcus. Let's start, if it's okay, with your past, with your, let's say, your childhood. Did you always have abilities like this? And if so, how did they manifest?
Well, I have very few memories of my early childhood. I have a very bad memory, even though it doesn't seem like it, but I do. People tell me, I don't remember this, but people tell me that as a young child, I used to answer questions before people asked them. When a person, I had a difficulty in seeing the difference between someone asking me a question or just thinking of the question that they wanted to ask me.
Does that still happen?
It does, but now I know if a person has asked me or if they're just thinking about it.
Okay. All right, and other things?
That's just because I read people, I like people.
Yes, I can see that.
I read people, I love the human heart, the human mind. I'm what I would call a real mentalist.
A mentalist, meaning what?
Well, working with a person's mind, a person's feelings, playing with them, no, not with the people or with their minds.
Okay.
When I was 8 years old, I hypnotized my first subject.
Wow.
Again, that is something that people reminded me of later on. People who remember that. So until I was almost in the army, hypnosis was always a kind of a game for me. But now I take it much more seriously.
Of course.
And I like the things that I can do with hypnosis, things I can do with another person.
Do you do healing work with hypnosis? Have you done
no.
it? No. Okay. So, okay. David Wilcock, one of my heroes, on the YouTube, and author of the book. Kobe? Oh, it's my mind. But Google him on YouTube, divinecosmos.com. He tells a very, very famous story about a true story about a man who became famous. He wrote about hypnosis, and he talks about, I don't remember the author of the book, but Wilcock talks about this famous incident when the hypnotist hypnotized a father, and he said, you will not see your daughter. She was on the stage. You will not see her. She will, as if, simply that he would not see her at all, even though, and then the next thing is he asked the daughter to stand right in front of the father, and the father saw everything. He was completely conscious. It was as if he was completely aware and conscious. He was talking and seeing everything. And they asked him if he saw his daughter. He says, no, she's not here. She was standing right in front of him. And then at a certain point, the hypnotist took an engraved pocket watch and had writing on it. And he held it. The daughter was between the father's line of vision and the pocket watch. Her body was blocking the pocket watch. The back of it was facing the father. And they asked him, what am I holding here? He should not have been able to see it. He did see it. He says, oh, you're holding a pocket watch. He said, and they asked him, can you read the writing on the pocket watch? And he read the writing on the pocket watch, as if her body were air. And he saw through her to the engraving on the watch. How do you explain a thing like that?
Well, this is basically a very, very simple hypnotic procedure, even though it looks as if it's wow, but it's basically very, very simple, the things that you describe here. But we all can see things that we are not aware of. For instance, if someone walks into the room and stares at us, we know that we're not alone, even if we don't see them.
That's right, we feel it.
But hypnosis brings you to a stage of higher awareness. So things that you are not aware of before, you are prepared to become aware of later on under hypnosis.
Would you say higher awareness or less high awareness? Because he couldn't see, he was unable to see his own daughter. So you could just as easily say that it was he put a block on his ability to see. So it could also block our vision and limit our awareness. Wouldn't you agree?
It can limit our awareness if that is the suggestion that we are given.
Okay, now that brings up an interesting subject, in my opinion. I'm a big fan of a channeled website. Every month there's a channeled article by, it used to be Tobias, now it's Saint Germain, and it's called The Crimson Circle. and also Tobias and also Saint Germain, a guy I would think would be very close to your heart, Saint Germain, because he was in many ways like you. He was called the Miracle Man of Europe, and he's passed on, or he ascended. Actually, that's much more accurate. Now he's the master of the violet flame. Anyway, they both say, Tobias and Saint Germain, that we are under mass hypnosis, that modern culture is a mass hypnosis, and that we've been deliberately hypnotized to dumb us down, to be disconnected from spirit, to be disconnected from our own power, to be disconnected from the true nature of life. What would you say about these comments of Tobias and Saint Germain?
I say that every person in the world goes through a hypnotic stage a few hundred times a day.
Oh, wow. Meaning what?
Meaning that if you read a book, you're not just reading the book, you're there.
That's right.
You're with these people. You're watching a movie. And I know it's a movie, but I'm still going to cry, and I'm still going to be emotional, and I'm still going to be scared, or whatever the director of the movie wanted me to feel at that moment.
Yes.
This is all hypnosis.
TV.
Well, let's call it suggestion, which leads to hypnosis. But we put ourselves in a hypnotic state.
Okay. What about a deliberate dumbing down of the population? What would you say about that comment?
That is also possible. Any great speaker, if he knows the hypnotic language, and there is a certain language to hypnosis, he can get anyone to do anything he wants.
Yes, I suppose. Certainly, we've seen evil geniuses in the 20th century who were very, very effective at that. And I suppose today's world has enough of those too. And also great leaders.
There was a very famous chess competition between Bobby Fischer, I think it was Bobby Fischer, and one of the Russian chess players.
Yes.
And in the middle of the chess match, Bobby Fischer got up from the table, turned to the cameras, turned to the newspapermen, turned to all the press, and he said, "You know me, and you know my game. This is not my game. This is not the way I play. I moved the pieces, but don't ask me why I moved them the way I did. This is not the way I play."
Fascinating. Okay. Yes. Very, very interesting.
Or in everyday situations. I was supposed to give a talk, a lecture at an Air Force base here in Israel. Very high security. And I arranged with one of the officers to meet me at the gate, to give me clearance to go into this base. And he was late. He was held back. And I said to myself, I'm not just going to sit in my car and wait until he gets here. I drove up to the gate, took out a piece of paper from my pocket, showed it to the man at the gate, and he let me in. He saw clearance. He saw a letter that let me into the base. Until today, they still don't know how I got in.
But wait, were you intending to hypnotize the security guard? You were intending.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
The fact that I believed that I was holding, this is my ticket into the space.
Interesting.
And that is what I suggested to him, and he received it and he said, please drive through.
That is very, very interesting. Okay. Ronny, you've done amazing things in your life. Now, you did something that very, very few healers are able to do. First of all, getting work as a healer for many, many great healers is not a simple thing at all. You actually had a clinic, and you would schedule what, a few people, and you would go from bed to bed or person to person. How would that work?
Well, it sounds like a big, a real big thing, but I used to treat about 4 or 5 people a day. That's
okay.
it.
Okay,
I didn't feel that I had the strength to treat more. And I was considered good.
I know you were. I remember hearing about what you did. You were quite famous, actually. Yes.
Mm-hmm. People came to me from all over the world. But I still didn't take more than 4 or 5 people a day because I didn't believe that I could give the 6th or 7th person all that he deserved. And it actually left me feeling very, very depleted of energy.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons why I closed the clinic.
Okay.
And I felt that I could do more by teaching people to heal themselves.
Okay.
If they want a healer, there are many to go around.
Yes, more and more.
More and more, and there are healers who take 5 or 6 or 700 people a day, and their healing looks like it. Looks that way as well.
Meaning what?
It means that if you invite 500 people to come to be healed, you won't be able to heal them. But the reason that you'll invite for these people is basically for the money
Or the prestige.
or the prestige.
Yes.
But if it's for healing, more than 4 or 5 people is tops.
Okay. And you would work with them, of course, energetically, psychic healing.
Mm-hmm.
How would you know what the problem was?
I just felt it.
Okay.
I have had no formal medical training, but I felt where the problem was. I felt what needed to be done. That is the difference between feeling and logic.
Of course.
I had a girl, she came to me. I don't even remember what her initial complaint was. But she came to me with leukemia.
Oh, wow.
Which she didn't know about. I also didn't know what leukemia looked like energetically, but I saw that something was very, very wrong. Now, I cannot go up to someone. It is very, very irresponsible to go up to someone and say, by the way, do you know that you have leukemia? What I did with this girl...
So you didn't know the energetic pattern of leukemia, so did you know it was leukemia?
I knew that something was extremely wrong.
Okay.
And before I took her health and her life in my hands, I said to her, just so that we know where we are, why don't you go back to your doctor and ask him to give you the regular tests Now these tests don't mean anything to me. Blood tests or...
Right.
They don't mean anything to me. She didn't know that, but she didn't need to know that. For her, it was just something that I needed to, for my diagnosis. I hoped, when I said that, I had hoped that her doctor would recognize a problem. The person who actually recognized it was the person working in the laboratory who did the tests. And he marked in red ink to the doctor, with a little arrow, notice this. And the girl came back to me about a week later, and she looked at me and she said, "You knew, didn't you?" I said, "Yes." Now, this we caught by chance, or not by chance. I don't believe in chance.
Neither do I.
Very early, in the very, very early stages.
Very nice. Okay.
So, this is a person I could help.
Okay.
Usually, when you start feeling things, it's already too late. It's already eaten into your body, but there are many stories like that.
So, so you stopped 13 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you teach nowadays?
I teach. There is a saying in Hebrew and in English. I don't know the exact wording, but it says basically, give me a fish.
Yes.
Give me a fish and I will be satisfied for today. Teach me how to fish and I will be satisfied for life.
Yes.
Now these people who came to me were looking for a fish. They wanted me to heal them for that moment.
Yes.
Healers, as I said, you'll find a healer on every street corner.
More and more.
But people who can teach you how to deal with things and so that these things should not arise again in the future, that is something that I decided, well, that is what I'm going to do.
Okay. That sounds very beautiful, and I would like to get into that. How we can stay healthy and how to choose the right healing modality if we're not so healthy. I'd like to get into these things. But first, well, just to show the audience, here we have a spoon, and here we have a relatively smooth table. Now, Ronny, what really impressed me on your clips is when the spoon was flat on the table, and you made an energy sphere between your two hands, and you explained about how the sphere wants to maintain its form.
Yeah.
And how you used the sphere to knock the spoon off the table without touching it. Actually, I'd like to show them that.
Okay.
So
we can do that. Okay, so the camera on the table. Okay. Okay. What I'm going to do first is to kind of close an energy circle, a circle of energy between my hands. This circle of energy always exists.
Check this camera. Yeah.
Everyone has this energy.
What do you mean it always exists? It's always potentially available to us. Is that what you mean?
Always potentially, and well, it's always there.
But
Not only potentially, but it is always there.
Look at this phone move.
No, I bumped it with my finger. Okay. But if I have this circle, and then I incorporate the spoon into this energy, we still have a kind of equilibrium here.
Okay.
Okay. My hands are at a certain distance from the spoon.
A good.
I can talk to you and concentrate at the same time because it is a different part of the brain that's working.
Okay, okay.
Okay, but if I try to get the energy out of sync by moving my hands, the spoon will look for the center point, and this is what we call telekinesis.
Okay.
You didn't really prepare me for this, but let me see.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We could all. Oh, there it goes. Oh my God. Whoa, that's beautiful, Ronny. Why?
Okay.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
This, by the way, is your spoon.
Yes, it's my spoon.
That was for the audience. But
Well,
then again, very few people who meet me are skeptical.
ask what?
Are skeptical.
Uh-huh.
You know, the skepticism usually disappears after the first few minutes.
Well, mine is gone, but it was gone before. I also saw you do amazing things with the spoon. I saw once you even separated the wide part of the spoon from the stick of the spoon. I mean, it's all on the video. Friends, if you want to see him do amazing things, you could watch him on the video. Okay, what about the bell? We talked about moving the bell. Would you like to give it a go?
Well, basically it's the same thing.
Okay.
Again.
1 second. That's
Okay. Yeah. Okay, again we have the same energy.
A ball. Oh my. Oh my.
Now I will carry on talking so that people don't say that I'm blowing on it.
That's a good idea. Why? That guy is moving. Oh, and this is the heavenly music, Ronny. This is the
Okay.
energetic music. Why?
Now if we have already spoken about this circle
Yes.
that is always there, these circles produce around the body a kind of halo.
A halo, yeah, like
We all have these halos.
like the ancient Byzantine paintings
Mhm.
of the halos, yes?
For instance, I'd like to ask Kobe to be a volunteer. Sit where you are, it's okay.
Okay.
Well,
The
she's
camera will follow me.
All right, the camera will
Okay. And Kobe will sit here, and I want the camera to follow my hands. Okay. Okay, I want the camera to follow my hands. Kobe won't see me because I'll be standing behind her. But Kobe, I'd like you to tell the audience what you feel at this moment. What am I doing to you?
You're pushing my head.
I'm pushing your head. Kobe, you will be able to see afterwards on camera that my hands are in the air.
Oh, really?
Ha
I thought with your thumb you're pushing my head forward.
ha.
Well, you're not far wrong. I am, but not physically.
Mm-hmm.
I am working on this halo, which is an inseparable part of the body.
Oh wow.
The camera cannot, or our naked eye cannot see this halo usually, so people will see my hands in the air. But it
So,
is
you
still,
know, it was just like pushing my head with your thumb.
yeah, that's the feeling.
Wow.
Wow.
And you know, there are cameras that could photograph the aura and the halo of the head. the ball above the head. When you say the sphere is always there, do you mean there's a sphere between our hands?
Yeah.
Always?
Always.
Even when one hand is all the way to the right and the other hand is all the way to the left?
Yeah. It may be very, very weak, but it is always there.
Between our hands, huh? Or
Well, there are many spheres,
there are many spheres.
each one outside the other,
Okay. And of
and
course,
they are all there to protect us.
they're all there to protect us, and they, of course, they say the chakras or the spherot are spheres as well. And that also you said the shape of the sphere wants to maintain itself, right?
Well, yeah, basically
So when you disturb it, it wants to go back to its
original form.
original form. And the spoon, you made it part of the sphere, and so it will always be seeking the center. Why is it always seeking the center? Didn't you say that?
Yeah.
That the spoon seeks the center or something? What did
Yeah,
you
well,
say?
now the spoon does not have any,
Okay.
will of its own, but
What?
the energy itself tries to bring the spoon to the end, to the middle, so in order to reform this equilibrium again.
You know, it makes me think of how always the center is the most powerful. What is it? I mean, whether it's the great central sun or the center of the earth, there's something about center, which is source of power, which is source of... It's interesting, always the center.
And this basically is how healing works. When we all have energy,
Yes.
but when something goes wrong, and something goes wrong with the energetic field, with the energy field, and you get a healer who comes just to try and bring the energy back to where it's supposed to be, he can either succeed, he may succeed, or he may not. He won't do any harm. But if he does succeed, it's just because this energy basically wants to be... I'm losing all my English. Basically wants to be,
Center?
centered and round and without any problems or anything worrying it or anything bringing it out of eccentric. Yeah.
When we're strong in our centers, we are strong, isn't that right?
Yeah. We are.
And when we are connected to the centers of the universe and the earth, we are strong. So life, or our thought processes, and the difficulties of life could knock us off center, and the key is getting back into center. It's interesting. Okay, something else. I spoke to my friend, very powerful healer, psychic friend, named Anna Morel. And he told me about his teacher, Nora. Okay, Nora, who I interviewed once, and Anna Morel I interviewed once. And Nora is truly a great master, in his opinion and in mine. And he told me the first time he had experience with her. He was in actually in another country, and they were in audio communication through some kind of loudspeaker type system. Nora is in one place and them in another. And the first time he realized he saw vision without physical eyes was in this meeting, because Nora, who was thousands of miles away, would go to the different people in the audience, in his group, and she would comment about their blue sweater, or the or the how her hair was another girl or woman, how her hair was particularly combed in a beautiful way. And then she went to Anna Morel, and he felt a physical hand on his body. I don't know if it was the stomach or the chest, and she commented about a physical condition. He was feeling her hand. Okay, she didn't see them at all. There was no video communication. He was feeling a physical hand, and she was commenting. He was feeling her hand, and she was commenting about what she was feeling with her hand on his body. And well, that's when she became his master, his teacher, master in a good sense. And that's when he first experienced vision without physical eyesight, even more touch. And he explained to me that this is one thing that Nora does. She travels. She travels in her light body, her spirit body, anywhere she wants. And she sees through that body. And she can even touch through that body. It's an amazing story. I suppose not very unfamiliar to you, a story like this. Any comments?
Yeah, well, we have... I believe that everything has a physical and an emotional manifestation. Be it feeling, be it sight, be it anything. And if you feel something, you don't really have to physically feel it with your nerves, but the fact that, for instance, Kobe felt my hands.
Yes.
I wasn't touching her physically.
Yes.
But she felt a physical touch.
That's right.
There is a man named Meir Schneider.
Oh, the famous Meir Schneider. The man who taught himself to see after being born and growing up almost completely blind. I think just a little light vision, just a little. Yes.
Yeah, I spoke to you about him on the phone.
Yes.
I don't think I mentioned his name.
And I couldn't remember his name.
No, but we
either.
know about him.
Okay.
We also know about him.
He taught himself to see. He is the only blind man in the world with a driving license.
Yes.
He has his
Because
driver's
he's not blind.
license.
But he's not blind anymore, that's the thing.
He is clinically blind.
Still?
Ah, still?
I think so, I'm not sure. But it is very difficult for a person to become, many people go blind in life. Very few are blind and start seeing.
Yes, yes, yes. I understood he has or had an institute in San Francisco where he helps people, not just blind people, but seriously disabled people to achieve great results. He's a great therapist, not just blindness. So, yes, we talked about that on the phone. Okay. And, the name of the David Wilcock book, which talks about these energy fields.
Source.
It's called The Source Field Investigations, and he talks about the suppressed science. There's a lot of science and research that demonstrate all of these things that Ronny and I are talking about, and a lot of it is suppressed because of this mass hypnosis and the dumbing down, I would say, of most of humanity. And this book talks about these investigations that have been done and that have been kept very much quiet. A lot of them, the book is amazing and simple. And so I recommend that as well as his website. Ronnie, this ability that you have, from my readings, for instance, John Velo, Melchizedek, author of many amazing books, he talks about certain governments are training children to do these things to an incredible extent. He talks about the Russians.
The KGB, they used to do
And
it.
the KGB did it back in the time of communism, and it's still, the Russians are very advanced. The Russian science is very advanced, maybe now more than ever. And the Chinese. And he talks about a school in Mexico for training children who have abilities like this. He talks about, in China, they make a big project to train these children. The Chinese have great, great, dangerous ambitions. Their government, the Chinese people are wonderful, but their government, is not. And he talks about a Chinese girl, a little girl, and people, a lot of people walked into a big hallway, all of them with closed flowers. A little girl comes up to the front of the podium. She waves her hand, and all the flowers open. Okay? I recommend the books that Kobe and I have loved, the Anastasia books, about a great, great master in Russia. Talks about these things and the children. And the world is changing, and more children are coming onto the world with these great abilities. And if, as Kobe was saying here, she was talking about a book called Emissary of Love by James Twyman, and a child called Thomas, right, Kobe, who had these great abilities. If these children are actually trained to use these powers negatively, they become sick. Is that right? Because that is the protection. These children are based in love. And when evil people try to subvert them, it doesn't work very well. They can die. Ronnie, what would you like to say?
Sure. I had a friend here in Jerusalem. He lived in Russia in the beginning. He's a Russian. His name was Avraham Shifrin.
Yes.
I don't know if you have heard of him.
No.
He was a super sensitive guy with super sensitive powers.
He was
elderly
man, an old man?
Well, not old, but
70?
yeah.
I think I know him.
He built the program, the paranormal program for the KGB before he knew what they were going to use it for.
Oh, wow.
And when he saw what they were doing with it, he refused to carry on. They sent him to Siberia.
Wow, what a courageous man.
He lost a leg.
Wow.
While he was there. He came to Israel. His wife is still here in Jerusalem. She is a friend of mine. Leonora Shifrin, another person who you can interview.
Oh, that sounds very interesting.
About his books. He wrote many books.
Okay.
And when he came to Israel, he vowed never to use his powers again. After he saw the damage that can be done.
Oh, well. But I think these children are the hope of the world. As the Anastasia books, which I really, really recommend, in one of the books, the third or the fourth, she has a vision of super children disarming the world. And, that'll be a day to see. And, okay.
I think they can.
They can.
I think they can, and whether it comes through that way or they just start coming in such great numbers, whether they're indigo children with indigo auras, high vibration auras, or crystal children, or gold children with these special high vibration, high love energy auras, whether it just comes through population change and the old dying out and the new coming in, I do believe that's the key to a new world which we will see in not so long. And we're seeing signs of it already in the world. And, okay, so Ronny, how do we stay healthy, energetically and in every way? And how do we, when we don't stay healthy, how do we find the right modality to get back into balance, into center?
Wow.
Not a simple one, no.
No, not a simple one. Somebody once said, you teach best what you need to learn most.
Yes.
And in that I'm a good teacher, but I have to learn that by myself as well. I know how to teach, but not to learn. I think we all are basically healthy, if we want to be.
Ooh, that's quite a statement.
I've seen 50-year-old people who are old, and I've seen 90-year-old people who are so young and vibrant. We have a joke in our family even. It would have been funny if it was not true. When my father was, I think, 86 or 87, he fell off his bicycle. And he went to Kupat Cholim, and they asked him what happened. He said, well, I fell off my bicycle, and they didn't believe him.
Wow.
And so they said, you know, we think that at your age, perhaps you should stop riding. So he took up painting and sculpture, and until his very last day on earth, he was telling jokes and he was happy.
Wow.
And he died at the age of 94 when he was still able to dress himself and prepare his own food and
wow. What was his key? What was his secret?
he loved life.
Yes.
He loved nature.
Yes.
He used to walk outside and say hello to the ants.
Yes.
Birds used to sing and he used to whistle back at them.
Ha ha. Ha.
And he was he was a professional grandfather to all the children.
Mm-hmm.
All the animals on his kibbutz were his pets,
Yes.
even those that were not pets. Ants, worms,
Wow.
things that...
That's
Spiders. He used to see a spider and say hello, good morning to the spider.
Whoa. That's such a special understanding. Such a deep understanding. And it kept him young.
Yeah, it did.
Whoa. Okay. So loving life. What else? Being interested, I think, in new things. What did you say?
What did he see?
What?
What did he see?
No, you. I mean, what do you think? Being interested in new things, wanting to learn all the time. Don't you think that keeps you young?
I think so.
Yeah.
My wife is angry with me when I go up to people in the street and say good morning. We know how to land a man on the moon, but to cross the street and say, hello, do you need anything?
Oh,
That we
yeah.
find difficult.
What?
That is difficult. That is
Yes.
something which we don't do.
Because we're afraid to do it, isn't that so?
People look at me as if I've fallen off the moon or something, but I'm still going to carry on. It's not, this is my way of learning about people.
Okay.
As I said, I love people, I love humans, I love the human brain, I love the human heart. And feelings, we don't have feelings anymore.
What do you mean by that?
Let me give you, I'll show you how I start my my talks usually, my lectures.
Good.
I take someone from the audience, just a random person. For now, we will take maybe Rolando. Okay. Rolando, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Okay?
Maybe you should come out to the film.
Okay.
Bavakasha, let your friends,
Okay.
let your friends around the world see.
Just something very simple.
Okay.
No, come out to the film.
Here, understand.
Rolando, think of a number, any random number.
Kobe, turn the camera
Okay.
to Rolando
Okay? You have a number in your mind. What number did you think of?
and look through it.
What number did you think of?
And I will tell you.
Yeah.
11.
11. You thought of 11. Did I in any way limit you to what number to think of? You know, it could have been any number. You said 11, but it could have been 590. It could have been 3,856. I didn't limit you in any way. I just said, think of a number, and within half a second, you had a number in your mind. But now I'm going to ask you one other question. What do you feel now?
Good.
You feel good. I'd like to congratulate you, because you are one of very few people in the world who can tell me what they feel at this moment.
Ah,
When I ask the person in the audience what they feel, usually they'll say, ooh, what do I feel? Well, let's see. What do I feel? I don't know. I think I feel, I don't know. And to think, we are taught to think, but not to feel. And this is something which I try to bring back to people.
you're very beautiful.
And when people say that telepathy does not exist, there are many people who will say that.
Yes, there are.
When they say telepathy does not exist, I am actually very scared that very soon it will not exist. Because if we think of the word telepathy, tele, means distance. Telephone, anything that begins with the with T-E-L-E,
Yes.
tele, has something to do with distance. Telescope, telephone, television,
Yes.
telecommunications,
Yes. Telekinesis.
telekinesis. Kinesis, like kinetic energy is energy
From a distance.
from movement. Telekinesis, moving from a distance.
Yes.
Okay? Telepathy, what is pathy? Pathy comes from the word pathos, feeling.
Oh my, oh my.
A person who, apathy means no feeling, apathy.
Apathy, no feeling, that's right.
If I understand what you're feeling, if I know what you're feeling, and I can relate to that from a distance, feeling from a distance, telepathy.
Yes, that's right.
And if we don't feel, how can we feel from a distance?
Yes.
So that is why I believe that maybe some of these people are right when they say that telepathy does not exist. But I am trying to keep it alive.
It will always exist. But one of the reasons is these children coming in, because they are all empathy and telepathy.
Yes, but it is usually drummed out of them before they learn to use it.
When they go to school.
Well,
It is just your imagination. Don't take any notice of it.
so they tell
People
us,
will think of you as a freak if you're...
and this is the mass hypnosis, the dumbing down
Yes.
that I was talking about.
Don't tell people you can read minds, or they'll think of you as a freak. You won't have any friends.
Or see nature spirits, or fairies, or which thank God really do exist. So, or angels.
I believe that many people who are institutionalized in psychiatric wards, many of them are there just because we don't know how to deal with them.
Yes,
They hear voices.
yes.
If they are dangerous and they say, someone told me to go and murder the president, okay, institutionalize him. But a person who says he sees voices and he hears voices and he sees people, the fact that we don't see them or hear them
That's all.
does not mean that they don't exist.
Of course, that's what I've learned.
He
Indeed.
sees them, we don't.
Yeah.
Indeed. And all of our great saints in history, today they'd probably be locked up. And that's the society that's become sick, and the society itself has become sick and needs healing and change. And it's coming. It's coming naturally. The energies coming in now are bringing it about big time. And you know, Ronnie, not only do people not know what they feel, they don't know what they want. I say to people sometimes, what would you love to do? Or I love Shirley MacLaine's phrase, if you had all the money you needed, what would be your golden dream? You know, where would you be, what would you do? People have no idea often what they want. And, well, that's connected to not feeling. They don't feel who they are or know who they are.
Or the fear of taking responsibility.
Ah, yes.
I know that every morning I wake up and I have breakfast or coffee or whatever it is that a person has in the morning. I go to work and I'm there at 8 o'clock. At 5 o'clock I clock out, go home, sit by my television for 2 hours, sit by my computer for another hour, go to bed, and then the next day will be exactly the same for 40 years. Why? Because I have everything wrapped up for me. I know what I have to do at any certain hour. I know when I have my lunch break. Sit down for me. I don't have to take any responsibility. We have become robots.
Caroline Mays, one of my favorites, who I love, I send out her films on my email list, Facebook. Caroline Mays, she talks about the benefits, the advantages of being in the group mind. And one of them is, look, there are definite advantages, but what a price, what a price. One of them is, you don't have to take much responsibility. The pace of change is slow. People don't want much fast change. A religion gives you this. Gives you the group mind, tells you what to do, sometimes who to marry, and so on and so forth. and the priest or the rabbi or the mullah, they tell you what to do. And she says that, she compares, she says life could be like toilet water, cologne, or perfume. And being in the group mind, it has its advantages, but it's toilet water. It's cheap. It's sweet smell, but it's cheap. And when you graduate, and one of these days we all graduate, then you it becomes more like cologne. And then when you become an individual, then you get the perfume. And so it's the advantage of being in the group mind. That's what she would say.
Someone else said it in a different way. When you see a fruit tree, sometimes you have to climb the tree to get the fruit. You may fall out of the tree. You may get scratched. You may, there might be animals there up in the tree. In the end, you'll get the fruit, the good fruit. What you find lying around the tree, which is very easy to get, that is already rotten. That is already...
Yeah, it's the toilet water.
Yeah.
Well,
it's easy to get.
It's easy to get, but not...
But it is not what you really want.
And I love it when she says, Caroline, she says, when you graduate from the group mind in your own due time, they're not going to be happy with you in the group. They're going to be very unhappy with you. And the temptation is to blame them for being who they are and what they are, and that's inappropriate. It's just to be grateful to them because they gave you what you needed while you needed it. When you needed that group mind security framework, they were there. And now that you've graduated, of course, they're not going to be happy. But humanity is graduating. And, okay, Ronny, I'd like to ask, and about the fruit. Shirley MacLaine has a book called, a famous book called Out on a Limb, based on that very metaphor that you just gave, that you have to go out on a limb to get the best fruit. It's still a great book, back from the 80s, and a great film. So, Ronny, how do we choose the best healing modality? Whether it's Chinese medicine or homeopathy or acupuncture, Chinese medicine. How do we know what to do when we're out of balance?
Well, firstly, we have to be comfortable with it.
Okay. Nice, I like that.
We have to be comfortable with the person who is going to give us the treatment. When you call someone and he said, let's say any practitioner, and you'll say, well, first I'm going to need a check for 10,000 shekels from you.
Ah, yes.
I'll say, okay, thank you, and then I'll move on to the next person.
Yes, of
Okay.
course.
A person who promises anything is also someone to run away from.
Okay.
Because no one, the best person in the world even, the best practitioner in the world, no one can promise anything. He can promise to try his best. That's okay.
Yes.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If you have a certain problem, a disability or disease, maybe there's a reason you have it. Maybe there's a reason there that is more than my ability to fix. And there are things that, so a person who promises anything, that's someone else to run away from. A person who takes another person's responsibility. Don't take this medication. I'll treat you. Don't have that surgery. Don't go to that doctor. you don't need these chemicals. I'll treat you. That is why we call it holistic medicine.
What?
Holistic medicine.
Yes.
Everything works as a whole, not only one thing.
But
Also-
sometimes the practitioner may know about the dangers of certain treatments, and he may honestly warn the client, listen, there's a big problem with such and such treatments.
That's
that-"
okay.
Yes.
To warn the client and say, there is a big problem with that. Okay, but to tell the client, don't take it and don't do it and don't do this and don't do that.
Because it may yet work for them, right? Maybe for them it's the right thing, even with all the research. Yes, I get that. Okay.
I had a girl. She came to me after a road accident.
Yes.
Her boyfriend took her for a ride on his motorbike,
Yeah.
and for a long time she was in a plaster cast, and
Yes.
she came to me in a wheelchair. She said, "What can you do for me? How can you help me?" I said, "I don't know. Let me see what we can do."
Yes.
And I started working on her. After the second or third session, she got up from her chair, from the wheelchair, and started walking. The session after that, she came to me in her wheelchair again.
Yeah.
I said, "Okay, that's fine. I don't want to rush anything." And she got up, walked a few meters, sat down again, and the next time she came to me, she was still in her wheelchair. And this carried on until such a time when I felt that nothing was happening. I see that she's walking, she had the ability, but something is keeping her back. So as she walked in, this might have been the 10th or 11th time that she came to me. As she came in, I sat down opposite her, and I didn't say a word. I just sat there and looked at her. She said to me, "What? What are you looking at?" I said, "You tell me what." And she started crying. And she said, until her accident, no one took any notice of her.
Yes.
Now she's crippled, poor thing.
Yes.
Everyone does everything for her. Everyone takes her to places where she has never been before.
Yes.
She has no responsibility because, poor thing, she's crippled, she can't do anything. So we'll feed her and cook for her and do everything for her.
I know.
Why would she want to give up all that?
Yes. See,
And that is when I stopped the sessions
with her.
with her.
Ronny,
She needs it. She needed this ability.
look, or she needed it, or she believed she needed it, which amounts to the same thing, maybe. Look, many therapists, they know about something called secondary gain. Okay?
Yeah.
Secondary
Sure.
gain, friends, is the advantages of the illness. Okay? And every psychotherapist will tell you, maybe his biggest work with his clients is convincing them at deep levels, unconscious levels, conscious levels, that getting well is better than staying sick, because part of us doesn't want to get well. I think almost everybody, part of us, there are always advantages to every situation. And again, Caroline Mace, the great genius, she has a cassette lecture called "Why People Don't Heal." And why people don't heal is secondary gain, what they gain. I've heard handicapped people say things like this. I'm sure I have my own stuff, which I'm trying to, I'm doing my best. And everybody, I think everybody, always this issue comes up. And
then you have people on the other side as well. I have a friend in Jerusalem who is blind.
yes,
And he was once interviewed on the radio, and the commentator said to him, well, something like, well, how do you feel with your disability? So he said, what disability are you talking about?
yes.
So she said,
Yes,
you're
yes.
blind. So he said, yes, I'm blind, but you spoke about a disability. So she said, is that not a disability? So he said, well, let me ask you a question. Imagine a moonless night, 2 o'clock
Yes.
in the morning, 2 o'clock at night.
Okay.
Where each of us are on our way home, in the middle of the street, and suddenly there is a power cut.
Then it's an ability.
There is a power cut. I imagine fine. I won't even feel the power cut. How are you going to manage?
Yes.
Which one of us is disabled?
Yes. Yes. Relevant. It's all relevant, isn't it?
One of my greatest lessons in life I received at Alin Hospital,
Yes.
from a young Arab man.
Was it Wissam?
Wissam.
Yes. My old friend. Or Wissam, yes.
Wissam. Just for the people watching us, Wissam was paraplegic.
No.
Quadriplegic, I'm sorry. Quadriplegic, I'm sorry, I used the wrong term.
Wissam was very
From his neck down.
disabled. He could use one of his arms a little bit, but nothing really functional, just to smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
And he was on a respirator.
Nothing worked. He had a respirator for breathing, had something to work instead of his heart. His whole digestive system didn't work. He was fed through a tube.
And he was bent out of proportion.
Proportion.
Actually, Ronnie, Wissam could eat. He could eat. The tube was the breathing machine. Anyway, what does it matter? Okay, we get the idea.
Okay,
And he was very small and bent out of proportion.
His whole body was smaller than his head.
His back, well, I wouldn't say that, but his back was very bent, and he was very small, and he was brilliant. Yes.
And with all these disabilities, I arrived one day at Alin, and I saw him, a bit down. I said to him, Wissam, what's up? What's happening? He says, I'm not feeling very well today. I have a bit of a cold. That is his problem. I have a bit of a cold. Not that he can't breathe or that he's on a respirator.
Yes.
That is what is worrying him at this moment.
Like anyone else. Because
I woke up this morning with a little bit of a cold.
Because, I saw Bill Cosby once, many years ago, on Phil Donahue's show, that gives my age, and a famous show. And he was talking about being black, and pointing out to the fact that, they're just like anyone else. Life for them is much like, it's not, he doesn't say, oh, my black foot hurts. No, my foot hurts, and so Wissam, in your day-to-day life, somebody as vibrant and as Wissam, you forget about it. It's just part of the regular background picture, and you don't even remember it. And that's what it's like being disabled. It just becomes.
And the amazing thing was when you spoke to this man, you didn't realize that he was disabled. I mean, you didn't see anything different from anyone else.
Because, well, he was brilliant and he had a great sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, since he's passed on, but I'm sure he's laughing up there and having a good old time and very able-bodied in his light body. So, anyway, yes. Okay, Ronny, it's been very, very interesting. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about? We're not really limited. Whatever you like, we can do.
We can carry on, or we can... I have so much material.
I bet you do. Give me a couple of great... two more great stories that you think people would benefit from, and then we'll call it quits for today.
Okay, I give talks and shows at schools. Well, I do it everywhere. But I go around to different schools and demonstrate what I do. I was at a school a few years ago, and a young girl comes up to me afterwards and she says to me, well, how do you do all these things? The telekinesis and telepathy and making things bend, and I didn't really have that much time to deal with this young girl. I wanted to get back home. So I said to her, Vicky, you can do whatever you want. Whatever you feel, whatever you believe you can do, you can do. I had no idea then how deep these words became embedded in her mind. 3 years later, she was now a teenager. She went out to have some fun with her friends. They went to a nightclub at the Dolphinarium in Tel Aviv. The suicide bomber came and blew himself up in front of, within all these people. When her boyfriend saw what was happening, he jumped in front of her and he died in her arms. She was one of those who were hurt very, very badly. She was unconscious for a while. She was at Ichilov Hospital. When she came out of everything after many operations and procedures, the doctors came up to her and said, well, we have done everything that we can. But you probably will never walk again. You were hurt very badly, your legs, and you have shrapnel in your back, which we could not remove. But we have done what we can. And then she said, 3 years ago, a man by the name of Ronny Marcus came to my school, and he said I can do whatever I want. I'm not going to let a couple of doctors decide for me if I can walk or not. I want Ronnymarcus to come to me. Find him and bring him here.
Oh, wow.
I went to Ichilov Hospital. She was in a very bad state. She was in a plaster cast, almost a complete body. And I said to her, do you really believe that you can walk? She said, yes. I said, okay, so be it. And I started working with her. Today she has a slight limp.
Why?
But she walks and she runs and she dances and...
Wow.
And, well, that is one of...
Okay, give us another.
We spoke about belief and people seeing things that other people can't see. And I've always asked the question, why is it when we speak to God, it is called prayer, but when God speaks to us, we're crazy?
That's a good question. Why is it?
I don't know. If I say that God spoke to me and gave me a message, people will look at me very strangely. But if I say, yeah, I got this because I asked God for it, that's accepted, that's okay. Is our conversation with God one-sided, one-directional?
Well, not according to the brilliant Neil Donald Walsh, the author of the incredible Conversation with God books. I recommend the movies. I think, again, it's the dumbing down effect of our society. It's you can even look at it as not so much as a conspiracy. There's plenty of conspiracy out there, but it's like we're afraid to reach power, to touch power. It's everywhere you look. It's transmitted this: be safe, be small,
Live in a cube.
be a robot. This message is communicated all the time in so many ways, certainly through the TV and the radio.
We live in a cube. These are your limits. That is where you can go. That is what you can do. That is what you can think.
And don't even dare to look outside or to speak about it. And if you do, we'll punish you. It's not so much, and also there's a phrase, Ronnie, mediocrity hates greatness, hates excellence. This is not so much a conspiracy thing, but if everybody has closed themselves down and made this pact sort of with the devil to be mediocre and to be a robot, then...
That's easy.
What?
That's easy.
It's very easy, and it's encouraged, like I said. And so they're not... Somebody like this is not going to be so happy to see somebody who's showing something very, very different. So not necessarily conspiracy, although there is, but mediocrity hates excellence, and so it's out there. What else?
What I try to do in my lectures, and I tell people this afterwards, I try to take this cube. I'm not going to force you to leave the cube, but I'm just going to drill a few peepholes in the wall to show you that there is a complete world outside.
And that's what you do. So beautiful.
Just to show you that there's a complete world outside that we are not aware of. You don't have to accept the world that is there. It's there. It's there for the taking, and it's a wonderful world. All I came to do was to drill the peepholes, just to show you.
Beautiful, beautiful.
That it's there.
What a great metaphor. And you do it, man. Certainly for the kids at Aline Hospital, who they just adored you. You know, you really showed them, okay, you're limited in your body, but you could be, with your minds, with your emotions, you could totally go beyond that. And Wissam, you inspired Wissam, by the way. He was always trying to
bend spoons.
To bend spoons, to be telepathic, and he was not so bad. You gave them a look out of...
He was one of the very few people in the world who accepted the challenge of leaving the cube and walking outside.
Yes. Absolutely. Okay, let me it's hard for me to stop with you.
It's okay. We'll leave some material for the next time.
Okay. Anything about, okay, here we live in the Middle East in Israel. We have such a tough, long-standing conflict here. Do you have any foresight, specific understanding about how all of this will reach a center and a healing, a balance? Do you speak to Arab groups anytime?
No.
I'm not surprised because, and notice friends, I haven't interviewed an Arab yet. I hope to. But there's such a sort of division.
I've spoken to Christian Arabs, but not Muslims, because in the Quran they speak about genies, which are considered evil spirits, and the Arabs believe that what I do comes from these genies, these evil spirits.
Yeah.
So they are very scared of speaking to me and asking me about it.
Yes.
And
Okay.
also the ultra-religious group.
Yes, absolutely. It's the same. Religion, that's a big closer down. My opinion, especially the fundamentalist version. Okay, so what about your insight into what's going on in this country and what will be?
I really don't know.
Okay.
And I'm not scared of saying that.
I love that. It's a humble, honest answer.
I really don't know. I like to be optimistic.
Yes.
I am optimistic.
So am I.
And I try to take the best out of whatever comes.
Okay.
But somehow I feel that the power of, as the Essenes said, the power of the sons of light, somehow I feel that now it won't be enough to bring down the power of darkness.
You mean not yet?
Not yet, and I hope we don't miss the train.
Okay. I'm convinced we cannot miss it, but time will tell.
And whatever happens, well, that is what's supposed to happen.
Okay. Amen, of course. And Ronny, it's been what a privilege and fun. And
It's been a privilege for me too.
and riveting and inspiring. And okay, Ronny, any last words?
Any last words? Well, I feel that I don't know, there's so much to say. Let me leave you with one last message.
Very well.
I believe that whatever a person wants to do, he can do. He is able to do it. The only thing going against that is logic. Logic and feeling don't usually go hand in hand. And if a person says to himself, well, bending a spoon, that's not logical, I can't do that, immediately this person has given himself a disability. This is something he cannot do. But if you are able to free yourself from logic and work only with feelings, then anything is possible.
Wow. Wow.
Even to bend a spoon.
Even to bend a spoon. Or maybe even to get up out of a wheelchair. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Ronny. Thank you, everyone. It's been great.
Bye.
Okay. Okay, Ronny's just going to show us a couple of more amazing things that can be done.
Okay. Let's see here. Again, these are spoons that I've just received now from you.
Yes? Choose a spoon.
Actually, it doesn't really matter which one.
Explain what you're doing about,
Okay.
also about the circle and the point.
Yeah, we all know how to take it's a lens and burn a piece of wood or a piece of paper.
Of course.
We are not using any power that is not there. We are just condensing the sun's power into one small point.
Correct.
Now if I do the same thing with this energy, and instead of having it flow in a circle, I condense it into one small point in the center of the spoon, then we can do something else. Yeah, I think maybe you should come this side so that you can see the whole length of the spoon. Yeah. And you can see the top part of the spoon turning, while
Wow.
the bottom part is standing still. Yeah, I'll show it to you from profile, and we get something like this.
Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa.
That's really amazing.
Yes, it is. Now, I've never seen anybody levitate anything before.
Okay, again,
Okay.
levitation and telekinesis are basically the same phenomena,
Okay.
but just in different directions.
Okay.
So, if I take a flower is alive. It has life.
Yes, it does.
It is more difficult to work with. But if I manage to work with it,
Okay.
then I can get further ahead. Further than I can with any other thing.
Okay.
Sorry.
I am.
How many people have you heard apologize to a flower for picking it?
You know, it's a beautiful idea. I'm sorry to, but it will serve. This flower, Ronny, does, please God, will serve to teach humanity the truth of who we really are.
Okay, again, I'm going to form this circle that I spoke about before. Okay, I think I'm going to do it in the other direction. Yes. One moment. This flower has just been cut. It has had a trauma.
Yes.
I have to kind of help it to relax. It sounds strange, but
No, not to me. Not to my friends. We'll put it
to
in water.
trust me again.
We'll put it in water, and it will bless.
No, I won't let you fall. But now, again, when I move my hands apart, okay, don't leave me now.
Ronny, you did it. You did it. I saw it. I saw it.
We got it.
It was hanging in the air.
Amazing.
In the nose, in that nurse, did they put it in? What? Did she get that message?
Okay. You got that? It hung in the air, right?
Yeah. In the nose, in that nurse, did they put it in? Why? She get that message.
Okay. You got that? It hung in the air, right? Okay. All right. Now that's a first in my life. That's a first. Thank you, both of them. Also the spoon. Thank you, Ronny.
Thank you. In the Philippines?
Me?
Me. Have I been to your house?
No.
Record. Are you recording this?
Yes.
Did you hear the question?
Mm-hmm.
Are
Okay.
you sure? Okay. Ronaldo, yeah? Ronaldo.
No, Rolando.
Rolando. Okay. Rolando. If I would like to get to your house
Mm-hmm.
from the, let's take a central point. Is it from the market? We have at the end a kind of a traffic circle where we turn right again, and then left, and I think it is the third house on the right. Yeah? It is?
Oh my God, it's true?
Yeah.
That's right.
When we go in, the house is slightly set away from the road, so we have a kind of path which goes to the side and then back again, and the entrance is the side. We go in.
I can't believe this.
We go in opposite the kitchen. To one side of the kitchen we have the dining room and lounge. It used to be one room, but 2 rooms, but you added a room in. You took out the wall in the middle.
I need to go now.
Let me see. There is a picture of 2 birds in the kitchen.
I can't remember.
He's been away a couple of years.
Yeah. But it is there, and
Whoa.
let me see what else we can see there. Behind, if you look through your window, through the window of your room, I think there is a kindergarten. And behind that,
Is it true?
Yes.
behind that, no, I think that That's it. There's nothing. There is nothing there. There are a few cactuses, I think.
Sorry?
Cactus plants. You know, off behind that, and I think that's the end of the. I think there are no more houses there. Let me see what else we can see there.
I don't suppose it's cactus though, Dudon.
We have
You
small,
have cactuses
small.
on a tropical
Yeah.
island?
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my God! Okay.
I'm speaking about things that shouldn't be there. You know, I could have said you have stairs going up to a house, but then who doesn't?
That's right. And you could say palm trees, but you would expect palm trees in the Philippines, right?
Yeah, but
Who would expect cactuses in the Philippines?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm speaking about things that
Oh
There
my
are-
goodness. Okay.
that are special there. Actually, palm trees I don't have.
No palm trees?
We have a coconut tree.
That's not a palm tree.
No.
That's a
It's a
coconut tree.
coconut tree. And it is a coconut tree, but it has never had fruit.
It does.
What?
It does
That's
have
also good, Ronnie. That nobody is perfect. It's a good healing message. That
Now, why
nobody is
do I
perfect.
feel
Maybe
that-
not recently.
What?
No.
What?
Maybe not recently. Maybe in the past when it was still young.
Oh, who knows?
I don't know.
No, he sees the present.
He sees the
Yeah.
He
present.
sees the present, and I've never been there, but I see it from when I spoke to my mother in the webcam. Or
Okay.
yeah.
Anyway, it's a little reassuring that Ronnie can make a mistake.
Now, I'm going to give you a name. I'm positive that this is not a common name in the Philippines. But who is Evelyn? Or Evelyn? Something like that.
Evelyn?
Evelyn? Something that sounds like Evelyn?
Because we have borders.
Oh, you don't know who the borders are.
Yeah.
What's your mom's name, by the way?
Nympha.
Okay.
With an L or with an L?
No, Nympha.
N.
Ah?
N.
Okay, Nympha. No, I don't know why I'm seeing this.
Okay, God only knows. Maybe it's another lifetime even. Still, I'm amazed, Ronnie. You just blown us away. And that you're not 100%. It just reassures me in the humanity.
But recently we spoke about my friend's mistress. Her name is Evelyn.
Oh my God!
It's in my head.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
There you are.
He reads my head.
And Evelyn is not a common name.
No.
And my
That's a-
sister-in-law is Evelyn also.
Claire's
Okay.
sister-in-law, his partner. Two Evelyns. There you go.
Maybe there's Evelyn in the room.
What?
There's maybe like two
There-
Evelyns in our mind, so it's like
Yes?
yeah.
Your sister-in-law, and did she have
Show Claire, no?
problems with her tummy? Yeah, but it's not.
Whoa.
That's her.
With her tummy? She had problems with her
Yes.
tummy?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, that's her. That's the Evelyn I'm feeling,
Yeah.
Oh my God!
and she's going to be okay.
Yeah.
She's gonna be okay.
Yes. I think.
But that-
I hope so.
It's a slow process, but
Ronnie, you're blowing us away.
Yes.
Okay.
okay.
Okay. Hallelujah.
Amazing.
Amazing grace. Okay. All right.